Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are interviewing a client of ours named Logan. He's been in the group for a while as a lifetime member. And today we're just basically going to go over how he found us, how long he's been betting, the results he's got from us, and anything and everything in between. So, Logan, you want to tell anyone about yourself, how long you've been betting, where you're from, or anything else?
Yeah, sure, man. So what's up, guys? My name's Logan. I'm from North Carolina, kind of the Charlotte area. Um, I do a lot of betting of tennis, and I watch a lot of baseball and basketball, of course, being from Charlotte. Um, uh,
What apps do you use mainly?
I mainly am using well, I dabble in a bit of all of them. Dabble. I use Dabble, Prize Picks, Underdog. Those are the top three that I'm using right now.
Gotcha. And then how did you find our group then? Was it just YouTube? Was it Instagram? What was it?
Yeah. I found your video through YouTube. Yeah. It was about, I think it was in August of last year. I found you, and so I went from there.
So yeah, we're currently recording this in March of 2025. So about 8 months ago, is that if my math's right? So you
Yeah,
found us
yeah.
about 8 months ago. And then what was the story? Did you watch one of my videos? Did I just hit? Did I sell you? What happened to make you join the group, basically?
So I think what ended up happening is I saw you guys' the deposit bonuses and everything you guys were doing. And I was kind of new to it. I was really only using Prize Picks when I found you guys. And then I heard you talking about Underdog and all these other apps, and I was like, hey, I might as well, get their free month, join up with them and see what they're about. And yeah, I mean, everything from then on was history. I've been doing really well. The first couple months, I was getting into it. I was trying to make my own plays with y'all's plays. And of course, going off my own, just I didn't know too much at the beginning. So
Yeah.
uh
And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, after a few months, maybe you ended up converting over into a lifetime member, right?
yeah, it was about I think it was about halfway through, about 4 months into because I used a couple of your deposit things because every deposit I would get a
Yeah.
month. So I was like, perfect. And then after that I ended up becoming a lifetime member with you guys.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then I guess what would you say has been the biggest takeaways from the group? Has it been more learning the math behind stuff? Has it been just literally profitability? Anything you want to share on that side of stuff?
So I would have to say my biggest takeaways from the group is humans are crazy and things are up and down.
Yeah.
You have cold streaks, you got hot streaks, and you get really hot, and then you go too hot, and then you take a really hard cold bath. But you know, my biggest takes from the group, it would have to be, like I said, cold and hot streaks, staying with your unit count and not going from doing different units on each play, try and stick to a set unit count, a bankroll management. You guys talk about that a lot in your Discord, and really just the knowledge I gained from you guys, and not being stupid about placing my bets.
Yeah.
That was the biggest takeaway from me, definitely.
I would also ask if you don't mind sharing, like how many units or dollar amounts have you profited? You don't have to share both, but if you're comfortable.
So when I started out, like I said, I took a big hit. I ended up going and like halving my bankroll, just because I was being crazy with units, and it was completely my fault, none on the group. I was actually making the plays that were hitting were mainly coming from the group and keeping me alive. So, I was making money there and trying to stay afloat, and then I ended up, spinning about 20 of my units on a GPU for my computer. And I took a little bit of a break from everything, but I've come back in these last 2 weeks, and I think I'm up. I think I'm up 20 units. We have been going crazy on Dabble.
Well,
So
that's good to hear. Good to hear. And then I guess one other thing I wanted to add, it's not even on your end, is a lot of people watch videos like this or videos like mine every day, and they have a very negative connotation around the space. And like rightfully so, because most people that sell picks don't really know what they're doing at all. And I just want people to know like we do full refunds on everything we sell. So if anyone's watching this and you end up buying a day, a week, a month, and you don't like it, we could hit every single slip for your first purchase. And if you want a refund, we'll give you one. So that I just kind of want to say that to show like the confidence I have in me, my team. And Logan's probably already seen that. We have a very good community, very strong community. It gets a bit hectic sometimes. We have a lifetime members only chat, which is just obviously the people that paid for lifetime. And then we have a chat for our VIP members, which is just everyone that joins. And the VIP chat gets a little crazy sometimes because new people join. They might flip out after like one day or one slip doesn't hit. But it's a very good overall group, would you say, in terms of community?
Yes, yes. The community is also great there. Even if you're taking a loss and we're taking some hits, we're all in it together. So it's not just like one person's, getting psyched out. It's there's a very strong sense of community there. That's definitely there. Um,
Yeah. I would say like the majority of groups online, community is something they struggle with because, as I kind of said before, they're not mostly winning players selling access to groups. So communities can be very toxic. And like we have our moments, or I should say we have our members that come in and out that are very toxic, but it is definitely a lot different than the average community, I would say, in the betting space. We try to be a lot more plus EV, positive expected value, talk about the math and that side of stuff. And then the other thing I actually want to get you to attest to is how fast do the lines move after we send the slips?
Oh my goodness, man. Dabble is the one that I have the most issues with. If you have to turn on notifications for Banjo on Dabble for it to be able
Yeah.
to get there. If you get it through the Discord, you're most likely too late. That's the thing with Dabble. They go so quick.
Yeah.
Your videos, whenever I'm watching them, maybe even 3 hours after you've posted them, the lines have been bumped half or half a
Yeah.
point or whatever. So
So
yeah.
the reason I ask you that is because some people will like understand like when the lines are getting moved in your favor, it means the casinos know you're doing well, you're a winning player typically. So the reason I ask you that is basically I wanted someone to attest to like, yeah, when we send slips, the lines are moving almost instantly or within minutes every time. And that's why we send so many slips in our group. A very big like misconception a lot of losing sports bettors have is that quality is everything and quantity isn't. And yes, to an extent, that is true. But when you have an edge over the house, whether it's 2%, 3%, 4%, you want a high volume of slips because you want to decrease variance. I don't want to get too technical in here. If you want to go read stuff, go to elitepicks.com. Well, long story short, it basically is kind of like this analogy I've said in my videos where if you had a coin and it was like a 51% chance of landing on heads and your friends like, I'll bet you 100 it lands on tails. Sure, you could flip it 100 times and be negative, but the more you flip the coin, the larger your edge is going to show in the long run. If you flip the coin 10,000 times, you're probably going to win almost definitely. The smaller the sample, the more variance. Long story short. Um, but yeah, I think that's the overall recap. Do you have any predictions for who you want to win March Madness or anything NBA Finals, whatever it is that you want to comment on just for fun?
Well, I will say that in the lifetime we did a thing this year where we did the bracket for the NCAA.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm not huge in it, but me and my girlfriend kind of sat there and she just, grabbed at things and said, "Hey, I like that team. I like the way they look." So we
Yeah.
ended up with the UConn to win. Um,
Okay.
so that's my prediction on the NCAA.
I picked Alabama. I don't watch a ton of college basketball. So like they're playing right now as we're recording this.
They
So
are, yes.
if they get upset and this video is gonna age so badly. But yeah, I think that's about it. I appreciate the time, bro.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for having me.